Hey guys, it's Lori. Welcome back to the channel. We're just getting ready to talk to one of my son's very first roommates when he went out to California. And I am really excited to talk to him. He is one of my favorite people, and he doesn't even know how much I love him. 3, 2, 1. Hey girl, hey!
Hey, how are you?
I am so good, sweetheart. How are you? Look at me. Look at me. I'm a freaking hot mess. I just got out of work. How's everything, darling?
It's great. I'm over here just quarantined and at home. Can't complain.
Can't complain. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for doing this, sweetheart. You have no idea how much I appreciate this.
Of course, I'm so excited for you. This is such a good, amazing, venture for you. And
Well,
I have a podcast with my friend, and we fell off of it for a minute, but it's such a big, it's a big task to take on.
yeah.
So, kudos to you. And you're
Well, thank you. Thank you for doing this. You know, it was so crazy because when Nicholas moved out there, I had to get out of his way, you know, and this is what we were talking about. And so the whole thing of me letting him go, and it was so hard being a mom, being an Italian mom. You know, and for a little while, you know, he was still trying to find his way. And then, you know, he calls me and he tells me that he's got some roommates and you were one of them. And so I didn't want to be the typical mom. I'm still trying to step back. Well, who is he? What's he like? What's his drug of choice? Are you going to meetings? Are you eating? And he's like, Mom, you know, and I let it go, and I didn't contact you like I normally would have, but we did have a chance to meet, and I just fell in love with you. You're just so sweet, so sweet, and I thank you. And every morning when I send out the good morning to you and the just for today, I have a big smile on my face because you have no idea how good you made me feel knowing that he was safe. And I love you for that. And I can never repay you, and you'll always have a special place in my heart. I just love you. But I have realized something, that I really don't know a lot about your story. You know, I follow you on Facebook, so I see this transformation. Oh my goodness, can you do something with my hair and makeup? Because you're gorgeous and so talented. So why don't we just talk just a little bit about how you got sober, why you got sober, what was the turning point, you know?
Oh my
Give
God,
me a little something.
Sure, for sure. Oh my God, I love you so much. And getting your text messages every morning, literally start my day off because you send them.
Oh, you're not mad that it's sometimes it's 4:00 in the morning?
Oh my God, no. Right now with being unemployed and just being at home, I get them right as I'm going to sleep.
Oh my goodness. Well, I'm glad. I'm glad. It means a lot to me, and I just want you to know that I'm thinking about you always. And I love you, honey.
World. I will take them and send them to my friends, so there's definitely a ripple effect happening too.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. So tell me something that I don't know, and maybe some of people don't know.
Totally. So I grew up in Stockton, California, and in the Bay Area, Northern California.
Okay.
And yeah, I didn't start doing drugs or alcohol till I moved to LA when I was 18. Okay. My parents were really young when they had me, and they were cool parents. So they're if you want to do drugs, if you want to drink, just do it in the house so we know you're safe. Don't do it out somewhere where you'll be hurt or whatever.
Okay.
And I think having that permission as a child, as a young person from my parents, I was like, ugh, that's not cool. I want to rebel against what my parents wouldn't allow me to do. So I was never really into drugs or alcohol. And I grew up in a kind of I don't want to say it was ghetto, but it wasn't I don't know, it was a little ghetto. So I saw very much what I didn't want, and I saw what those people were doing. So I wasn't going to do that, which was drugs and alcohol. But when I came to Hollywood for college, you know, it was a lot more glamorous on this end of town. And I really chased that allure, especially in the LGBT community, of like, the sexy like muscles and drugs and partying. So I kind
Okay.
of got into drinking and drugs that way. And after I graduated college in a cocaine filled haze, I started to do crystal meth. Um, I was 20 years old in Hollywood with no responsibilities, no like grasp on how to be an adult, and what was available to me because I was young and all this stuff and cute and was drugs, and like especially doing drugs in the Hollywood Hills was very like glamorous, and I thought I was somebody like up there and with these certain kinds of people, and it all became very like glamorized for me in a sense that like I'm doing something with myself because look where I'm at. But in
Mm.
reality, like I was, walking down those hills in Hollywood by myself at 4 a.m, like high and drunk and tumbling down and throwing up and vomiting in the bushes, like walking home by myself.
A
Like
day in the life of.
exactly. I didn't have money. I didn't have a car. I didn't have all these things. Anyways, like when I turned 21 and I was finally legal to drink. So it just went downhill from there on top of the drugs. And, an apartment infested with cockroaches and bed bugs. And I remember like 3 a.m. crying my eyes out, like dragging my king size bed through the hallways of my apartment complex that was infested with bed bugs, not being able to pay rent, and like, just a complete disaster. And sleeping on a lazy boy recliner, like flicking bed bugs off of me as I come
God,
like wake
honey.
up to them. And like it was just, I had abscesses and all kinds of STDs because of my behaviors that I was doing. And it was just really, really pathetic and sad for, I was 21 in Hollywood and I was already at this point of hopelessness. And I really do believe like I was in a state of hopelessness. And this guy that I had met while I was using, I actually asked him if he wanted to do drugs with me, and he had relapsed. He used that term, and I never heard of it before.
Okay.
And when we came to in the morning, he was like, "Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, what did I do? What did I do? My sponsor's gonna kill me. I was gonna have 30 days yesterday. Oh my god!" And I had no idea what he was talking about, and he wouldn't talk to me after that day. Um, and I kept reaching out to him, and he responded, and he was like, "I can't keep listening to you. You sound like a broken record every time you talk to me. It's the same story and the same drama." He
Right.
said, "You
Nothing
want
changes if nothing changes. Yeah.
And he said the what really hit me, he was like, if you want to change your life, meet me here on this corner on Tuesday at 7 p.m. And I was like, if I want to change my life. And like that really hit me. And I remember like a song from Dreamgirls was playing right as he texted me that. And I was like, oh my God, it's a sign. I need to change my life.
I love it.
As
I
I'm like
love it.
watching cockroaches like crawl across my like bedroom. And so I met him in that corner, and it was an AA meeting in a backyard with the fire pit. And the guy who greeted me at the door was this beautiful, it was exactly what God needed to plant there for me to pay attention, So I like went to the
Whatever
meeting.
works, honey.
Exactly. And it worked because in that meeting, he was like, they're going to ask you to identify as an alcoholic. Just every time you hear alcohol, just think of it as crystal meth, because that was my big like problem at the time.
Okay.
And I remember identifying, and I raised my hand. I was like, I'm Jason, I'm an alcoholic. And I just started bawling because for the first time there was an answer for what I had been living through, and I never was aware of it, and I didn't know about it. And I was like, all of a sudden there's these group of people who I can be a part of and with, because at the point in my life when I was using, everyone just kind of fell to the wayside, and I didn't want my parents to find out about my using, so I kept everything a secret from them. They had no clue, being like, across the state. They had no idea what I was up to, and I was really good at lying to them, like, oh my God, I booked a commercial today, when really, I was not doing that kind of stuff. After that night, I was convinced that crystal meth was the problem, but I could still do some drinking. So I did some controlled drinking the next day. And very quickly, I found out that there's no control when it comes to like taking that first drink, because I went to a bar and I had a drink at 11 p.m. And an hour later, I kept a tally on my hand too, to see like, to keep track. Like, oh, I'm not
Okay.
gonna prove it. And within the hour, I had 11 drinks. Where's my tattoo? I got a tattoo of it. Can't see it. I got a
Oh,
tattoo of the
wow.
tally mark that I took that night because I had 11 drinks in an hour. And the next thing I know, I was on my phone doing crystal meth down the street at someone's house. And
Mm.
the next day, I was like, how did I get here? I didn't set out to do drugs again. I was just gonna go drinking. And when I brought this to my friend, he was like, that's part of the addiction, and that's, you know, that's what happens, you know. You don't
Yeah.
intend to, but then you end up doing it. And he's like, you may be an alcoholic. And I was like, oh my God. And then
One more thing I have to be.
actually, I used a little more that week, and then that Sunday, I ended up going to another meeting that Saturday night, and there was a young person who spoke, and mind you, I was 21 at this time, so I was very much like, oh my God, I'm so young to be in this like state, you know.
Yeah.
But I was so hopeless that after leaving that meeting, I had my stuff at this Coke dealer's house, and I knew that if I went there that I was going to drink and use. And so I was like, I left that meeting and they talked about God. So I was like, okay, God, please don't let me, I don't want to use. And I was like crying, walking up the middle of a busy street, just like crying with like my bags. And I was just like, God, I don't want to drink or use. I don't want to drink or use. And out of nowhere, I get a text message from someone, hey, what are you doing? I'm in your area. And I don't know who this person is. Like, he was a trick or something from my using times. So I was like, but I was so hopeless, and I wanted to not drink or use so bad in that moment. I texted back this random stranger. I was like, I don't want to drink or use, and I just left an AA meeting, and I don't want to drink or use. And the person texts back and goes, oh, what AA meeting were you at? And I was like, coffee talk at 7 p.m. at the recovery center. And he goes, oh, I used to be secretary of that meeting. Where are you? I'll come pick you up.
Oh my God.
And I like ran into the Coke dealer's house, grabbed my stuff, ran back down, and he was there to pick me up. And he took me back to his place. And then the next morning was my first day of sobriety. And
Which
I was
was?
like, November 2011, yes, which was almost almost 9 years ago. I'll have 9 years.
You're coming up on 9. I do know that. That I know.
Yeah.
That is amazing. It's signs, and it's God working through other people, and I'm a firm believer in signs. You asked, please God, and you got this random text. I mean, that's just amazing. I love hearing stuff like that.
Because I'm like, this was an act of God. Like, there's nothing else.
You had that gift of desperation, and you asked for something, and look. My goodness. Oh my God, I love to hear that. I love that. You and Nick hadn't met until, like, I'm going to say 2013, 2000, maybe around then, because he came out there in April 1st. I don't know how long it was before the two of you met.
I feel like I met him the next year, maybe 2012. Okay. Was he here in 2012?
April 1st, 2012, he did go out there, but he was staying with my brother for a little while. I'm thinking maybe at the end of 2012, maybe the beginning of 2013, but I met you in April. It was like the end of March, April of 2013, because that's when he had his 1 year. And you guys ended up finding an apartment together. And I don't remember the timeline on that.
Me neither, but it must have been in 2013, because me, him, and another friend of ours, David, were like, let's get an apartment somewhere. Let's just move in together and create like a little sober hub, you know?
Yep.
And we found this apartment that was really cheap and really spacious and really big. And we moved in right away, and we called it the Sobro Pad. And I remember this this beautiful trans woman who really was like a big guardian angel to us, like gave us a bag of stuff and was like, happy housewarming, here's a bag of stuff. And we like dumped it out in the living room, and it was a bag full of heels and costumes. And me and Nick like jumped into the costumes, jumped into the heels, and he was strutting around. And I was like, oh my God. And our other roommate, David, who was a lot more macho and, was just like cheering us on. And like that started our adventure here in this apartment that I'm still in, like almost 8 years later. And we call it the Sobro Pad, and it's been like this little sanctuary for sober young people to like come and live here out of rehab or newly sober and like transition into like their next step into their life. And it's kind of like
I
my
love you.
sober living.
I love you. I love that you still do that. It's just, the gifts of this program, the gifts of the program. And
Yeah.
I know that you do that, and I want you to tell people some of the other things that you do. I'm on your Facebook the other day because I always look for your little videos as Selena. Oh my God, you're so talented, and I love watching it. And I see this one picture, and you have the headphones on, and you got the shirt on, sober babe, and I'm like, yes, yes, yes. And I know that you do a lot of work with. Sober people and trying to help, and with the alliance, Nicholas had gotten Best in Drag a few years back, and then when we went back for him to pass the crown, and you had your thing, and that was when Selena was born, or was it a little bit before that?
Yeah, so when I met Nick and we moved here, I had just I went to school for musical theater. I went to college for musical theater, and then I started using. And
Yeah.
when I got sober, I was like, okay, well, that career's over with. I'm never going to be able to do that. I set that up, through my drinking and using. So when I got into the programs, people told me like, no, I can pursue my dreams and it's never too late. And I mean, I was 21, so like, of course it wasn't too late. So I got into this professional dance program. And I was dancing every single day, like training professionally. And I was asked to be a part of the Best in Drag show as a backup dancer, but I couldn't do it because of the program I was in. So they asked Nick to be a backup dancer. They're like, oh, well, can your roommate do it? And I was like, Nick, you can dance, you know how to move a little bit. So he ended up dancing back up for one of the contestants. And the next year, I believe, is when he did Best in Drag. And the next year, watching Nick go through it, I was like, oh my God, if Nick can do it, I could do it. Absolutely. And he won the whole thing. And I ended up getting involved that way by helping Nick and watching Nick do it. And I wasn't booking a lot of stuff in Hollywood out here because, going out for dance stuff, it's very much for guys. It's very much take off your shirt and let's see your body. And I never had that kind of a body to book stuff, to be a backup dancer for Gaga or Rihanna or whatever the case may be. It just wasn't my gig. So I was very, very discouraged in that aspect when it came to like auditioning. But I found doing drag was very good because I got to express myself and explore my talents through drag, and people would pay attention when I was in drag because I'm a 6 foot tall, monstrous Amazon woman. So people are like, whoa, she's moving. And I ended up doing Best in Drag the next year, and that's Best in Drag really catapulted me into like exploring what drag was. And of course, like I said, we got that bag of drag from our friend Jasmine. And so we were walking around in heels. I never saw it as a career path. I never anticipated myself being this drag persona. But when I did Best in Drag, I was exploring it in town around West Hollywood. And of course, like all of my sober community would come out to support me and really like boost me up and let me know like I have something here. And that's really,
You do. Yeah, you do.
Best in Drag really like catapulted me to like pursue it. And just getting to be a part of Best in Drag, it's a fundraiser every year where we put on this pageant drag show. It's very campy, it's very silly, but we raise money for the Alliance of Housing and Healing, which supports people living with HIV and AIDS to deal with homelessness in LA. The homelessness in LA right now is insane. There's like tent cities everywhere, like on freeway exits and stuff. It's insane. But so the Alliance is doing everything they can to really help those people. And
that's awesome.
yeah, I get to help.
We'll be able to put up a link to them as well if anybody would like to check out more information on it or donate or do whatever they can. I would love to do that for you guys.
That would be amazing. Yeah, and actually, it's been 6 years or 7 years now since me and Nick were a part of Best in Drag, and this year for Best in Drag, I'm actually a part of the board and helping them with like the creative social media aspect of it. And now I'm working with them in a different way than I was before. So it's really cool.
Amazing.
Yeah, the transition of it all.
Amazing. Oh my goodness, honey, thank you so much for doing this. I just love you to pieces. You're the best. You're the best. Love to come see you in a show. I don't even know. Do you go out and do shows, or you're just doing your videos?
No, right now with pandemic, all the bars and clubs are closed, so there's no shows happening right now. But there's a lot of online shows and like stuff happening.
Oh, I see all of them. I honestly so talented, and oh my God, I love you.
Thank you. It's so good to see you. And
so good to see you too, sweetheart. Keep doing what you're doing. And you're doing these things for yourself, but you're giving back, and it's such a great thing to see. And I just love you, and your parents have to be so proud of you, because I'm so proud of you. I love you. I love you. I can't say it enough, and you will always have a special place in my heart. And you keep doing what you're doing, because it works. Okay, honey?
Thank
All right,
you.
honey. I love you. All
right, love you too. I'll see you.
Okay.